Hi, I'm Wally Hauk, and thank you for listening. I want to talk to you today about Think, Behave, Improve. This whole series is about how does an optimal leader think, how does an optimal leader behave, and therefore how does an optimal leader improve their team, their performance, their personal performance, and the performance of their organization. Today's blog is about fearless feedback, the white flag tool. In a previous blog, this is a tool that I assert you can start to use immediately. In a previous blog, I identified 3 barriers preventing effective feedback, namely confusion between what is feedback and what is criticism, because people want feedback but they don't want criticism. The fear of, of making things worse by giving feedback, and a lack of understanding about how to give feedback in order to optimize the changes that everyone is looking to achieve. So what if there was a way that you could provide feedback clearly and so that it's welcomed? What if it was welcomed and clearly and safe so that, and what if there was a tool that would eliminate this fear that both the giver and the receiver can possibly feel during feedback? That tool is available. It's called the white flag. Let me explain. One of my very first clients, was a very tall woman, and so she was intimidating physically, and she often received complaints claiming that she intimidated others just because of her presence. And even though she didn't have a mean bone in her body, there were things that she did in an aggressive manner that could come across as a little bit aggressive and and intimidating. So although I was able to share some powerful techniques with her, and she had the desire to make the changes, she often would fall, just like we all do, she would often fall back on her habits, and she would still continue to intimidate. What I found was that she would forget sometimes to make those changes, and I wasn't always there to remind her. So she had I thought, how do we help her to remember in the moment, especially when I'm not there? Now, she had a few very highly trusted and trusting employees who loved working with her, and I approached them. They were more than willing to cooperate. They just needed the right tool, they needed the right opportunity. So I was sitting home one day and I was watching the movie The Patriot by Mel Gibson. This is a movie about the American Revolution. And part of the story, Mel Gibson's team is his soldiers, his Minutemen, were captured by the British. They were captured by General Charles Cornwallis in South Carolina. And so Mel Gibson carried a white flag. He wanted to go talk to the general to see if he could negotiate and free his Minutemen. So I saw this part of the movie and I thought, wow, white flag, that's perfect. That's a perfect tool. The white flag is an international sign of truce or ceasefire. It's a request for negotiation. It's exactly what was needed for my client. Now, it's also associated with surrender, but that's not the context that I want you to remember at this point. I want you to remember that it's a truce or an opportunity for negotiation. The white flag signifies to all that an approaching negotiator is unarmed and with the intent to communicate. In fact, the American Red Cross has a similar symbol. It's a red cross on a white flag. And what does it signify? Protect the neutral parties who are there to help the wounded and or help those in a disaster. So please, I have information, or I'm here to help. Don't shoot me. That's the message. If I could get the trusted employees to use the white flag and remind her at the desired moment, in the moment, would that work? In fact, it did. In fact, the context of the white flag is very different. It's not about criticizing the person. It's about discussing what we could learn from this, or what we need to remember, or how we need to do things differently. So it's about process or method, not about the person themselves. My client was able to hear the feedback. She was able to make the changes with her method of communication, and she stopped being so threatening and intimidating. How does the white flag work? What's the technique? I'm happy to share that in the next blog. Stay tuned. Thanks for listening.